Let people fail. What does that mean? Okay, so I'm always a big believer in, well, I was a big believer in that I wanted to give my opinions to somebody. When somebody rings me up and says, Dean, I've got a real good business idea, blah, 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 and start telling me about it, I'm like, oh, well, it's shit because this, and this, and you won't be able to execute this, and this is the problem you're going to find. And then all of a sudden, I listened to this podcast, and it said, don't dare rob people of their learnings. Don't dare rob them of the education they're about to get. I was like, what the hell is he on about? He's basically saying that if you tell somebody their business won't work, their business idea is set for failure, doomed for failure, then you're robbing them of that experience of failure. And so, yes, you think you're protecting them. It's like helicopter parenting. You're protecting them in the short term, but long term, they might fail. Yes, it might go wrong, but the failure and the learnings and education they'll get from that, the experience they'll get from that failure trumps the failure itself. It could be their Lazo moment. For me, I've said it a million times on this podcast that what changed my life around was a massive failure, public failure. A restaurant, Lazo, was terrible. And it failed. But that was the spark plug that made me into the person I am today. I'm not saying I'm amazing or anything like that, but that failure sent me off a different trajectory. If I wouldn't have had that Lazo moment, I'd be still going down that route. I'd be still that person I was then. But because of a failure, I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about business. I've learned that, do you know what? As soon as you think you know everything, then you're an idiot. You don't know everything. And there's always things to learn, always things to educate yourself on. And I was never, when I had Lazo, or before I had Lazo, I thought I knew everything about business. But the more I know, the more I realize I don't know. And that it just sent me on a different path of education, learning, reading books, mastermind, podcast. Just sent me. I'm addicted. I know I'm addicted. I go to bed with my earphones on. I'm addicted to education and learning. I suppose there's worse things to be addicted to, but it probably is. It's, I don't know. I just learn all the time. But back to the original point is that if I told somebody, so somebody came to me and said, business idea, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, it'll fail because of this, this, and that. I could be robbing them of their life-changing Lazo moment. And that's not cool, my friends. And so, yes, support them. Tell them what to look out for. Tell them the pitfalls. But don't rob them of those beautiful, beautiful experiences that will come from failure. And unfortunately, again, with parenting, I keep thinking about parenting when I'm talking about this. I want my kids to be happy. I want my kids to be successful. But I also can't rob them of that experience of failure, because when you're a parent, you can protect them so much and protect them so much and protect them so much. But unfortunately, at some point, you can't be there. You've got to give them the experience. You've got to let them fall down, and you're going to help them pick themselves back up, but you've got to let them have that failure. And we're probably in a position where money for them won't be an issue when they're older. If they want to start a business, or if a business goes wrong, I would be in a position to be their safety net and fund it and help it and prop it up with finance. And that's not the correct thing to do. I'm robbing them of that experience if I do that. Anyway, that's for 10 years time, 20 years, 10 years time, 20 years time, something like that. Anyway, I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you tomorrow.